I'm so excited to be sitting here with Dr. Roland Vaughn, and many of you know him because he's part of the Westmore family. Former Director of World Missions for the Churches of God, and he is helping Pastor and partnering with Pastor with our international peace as it relates to our efforts to reach the world for Christ. Westmore has been involved with Cuba for many years. And we're not going to leave Cuba. We're going to continue to focus on Cuba and celebrate all the great things we've done there and continue to work there. But there's a real special emphasis that's beginning to be put on unreached people groups and how we have a responsibility to reach out to people who have never heard the gospel of Christ. Explain this language we hear about 1040 window and why it's important that we get involved with people who have never heard the gospel.
People who have never heard the gospel. When we think about that, we here in America cannot even imagine that if you had never, ever, ever heard the gospel. But that part of the world, the 1040 window, that's a term that's been used now for several years in missions, from 10 degrees latitude to 40 degrees. It splits right across the equator. From throughout northern Africa and on into Asia, over to China and those places. That is the largest concentration of more people groups, individual groups, tribal groups, large millions of people in some of those groups that are least reached.
It's unthinkable.
And some of them totally
Yes.
unreached
Yes.
the gospel. And thinking about it, the Lord told us to go into all the world.
Yes.
He didn't say go to this part, go to that part. Jesus said go into all the world. Well, we haven't finished the mission yet.
No.
The Great Commission has not been finished.
And Nepal is in that 1040 window. In fact, I know you've had quite a heart for Nepal, the unreached people groups there. And we sent over Pastor Jason several months ago to bring back a report on what God was doing there. And he brought back that report, and we found ourselves being burdened for Nepal. And that is an area where it just seems as though we need to get on board with what God is already doing.
We're led by the Holy Spirit, and He goes before us and prepares the way. And we should recognize where the doors are open and where the opportunities are. Now, we can't reach the whole world from this local church.
No.
But God has brought us to focus in on our part of the harvest.
Yes.
In our part of the harvest in the unreached people area, God has laid on the hearts of several of our leaders.
Yes.
And it's opened the doors and the opportunity to a country that we didn't have a thing in just a few years ago.
Right.
One student from Nepal went to study in the Philippines, and that's where our contact with Nepal came. And from there, God has brought about where we're in the midst of several of those unreached people groups. But now it's the burden to get it done. And how are we going to get it done? I know people when I talk to, well, I can't do that. How can I do that? How can I reach an unreached people? I don't know the language. I don't know the people. No, there are people to do that. And our part is to go into all the world and make disciples.
Yes.
So our job is to not win Nepal ourselves, not to send evangelists, but
partner with what God's doing.
To obey the Great Commission, make disciples.
Yes, that's powerful.
I can't overemphasize that enough.
Yeah, that's powerful.
What Jesus did and what He told us to do.
Yes.
Make disciples.
Yes. Wow, that's powerful stuff. And you can tell it's heavy on our hearts. What we're looking to do is to make a difference in the world, and that's why Westmore exists. We want to believe God to help us reach a lost and dying harvest. And we're committed to this fact. Because He lives, we will tell.